I'm Liz Larson.
And I'm Bill McKenna.
And together, we created the Cogno Movement System. And we'd like to welcome you to the New Life Perspectives radio show,
where we're going to be sharing with you tools, tips, and ideas that are going to change your life.
Hello, hello in UK Health Radio Land. I am Liz Larson, and I'm here with my friend
Bill McKenna.
And we're the hosts of the New Life Perspectives radio show here on the UK Health Radio Network. And we just happen to be the team that created the Cogno Movement System. Today, we have a really special guest, our friend Natalie Ledwell. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, we're great. And we're so excited to have you with us today to talk about manifesting. Everybody hold on to your hats. We are going to really dig in here. Natalie is a best-selling author. Her book is called Never in Your Wildest Dreams. I just love that title. That's fantastic. And Natalie happens to be the founder of the Mind Movies platform. Is that correct? Platform?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So would you welcome our dear friend, Bill?
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. Now for everybody listening, now Mind Movies, this is a really big deal to have Natalie on. 10 million downloads of her product. And this is because it is so effective and has helped so many people on their journey of manifesting. Well, we're going to get into the details of that. But what I wanted to ask is just, Natalie, how did this all happen for you? How did you end up here?
Oh, by accident, of course. No, I remember. So I was married for 20 years. My husband Glenn and I were serial entrepreneurs. We met when I was about 25 years old, and we had a whole ton of different kinds of businesses. Nightclubs and property development and coffee franchises and a ton of different things. And we were very good at business, and our skill sets really complement each other. So much so that we've been separated for, 10 years now, and we're still business partners. Like, we're still good friends. We do well in business together. But I had a moment in 2006 where I'm in Sydney. We're both Australian, and I'm in my third bedroom, in my office, and I'm looking at all my bills, and I'm looking at my bank account, and I'm like, okay, I know how to do this. Like, I think I'm doing everything right. I'm setting goals, I'm making plans. My first career was in the fitness industry. So I was a health professional. And my bosses would send me off to the Tony Robbins and the Zig Ziglars and the Jim Rohns and all the, big motivational speakers back then. And I was handed my first set of cassettes, Brian Tracy cassettes, when I was 21. So I thought I was doing everything right. And I'm like, okay, I am missing some vital piece of information here, because we had 4 businesses that were running at the same time. So we were action takers. That was never our problem. But it was like we were a car up on a jack, and the wheels are going, but we're just not getting anywhere. And not long after that, a friend of mine suggested that I go online and I order a DVD called The Secret.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a Saturday afternoon, Glenn and I sitting in our living room. We watched this movie, and I'm like, how did I miss this? Like, this is the piece that we're missing, and for Glenn, his big takeaway was that, when he visualized, he had to also feel the emotion of already being there. It wasn't just that he could see it, he had to feel it too. For me, it was, I don't need to know the whole plan. Like, I would set goals that I knew every step, and how to get it done. I was a very logical thinker, and I'm like, I don't need to know the whole plan. I just need to be really clear about where it is I want to end up, and then start moving in that direction. And then things will fall into place, and I think that when we're looking at creating things in our life, we get a little bogged down in I can't do this, I don't have the skill, or I don't have the ability to do that. And I'm the poster child for that not being the case, because I have stepped out of my comfort zone and out of my skill set so many times into a project. And then it's the universe, like you're leveraging the power of the universe when you're using these, manifestation steps. And so you get to achieve things that are, way beyond your wildest dreams. And so not long after we saw the movie, a friend of ours who we met through one of the businesses that we had showed us this little slideshow that he'd put together. And it was PowerPoint slides with affirmations on them. And the affirmations were describing what he wanted. And in between those slides were photos that kind of matched the affirmations. And then he had a song, he had music on the top of it. And it was like this dynamic, moving little slideshow that we eventually started calling mind movies. And it was his version of a vision board. And so a lot of people, we know a big part of the manifestation process is to be able to already see in your mind you already being and living this future. So a lot of people will cut out photos of the house they want or the car or the vacation so that when they look at those photos, it's easier for them to imagine themselves on that vacation or driving that car. But this kind of took it to another level. This was like dynamic and moving and the music, and it was like this soundtrack. And believe me, our friend was this young, single 30-something-year-old guy, and he had like lots of girls in bikinis and hot cars, and which was not what I was into at all. But I still remember feeling excitement when I saw this movie. And then he approached Glenn and I and said, look, I'd like to go into business with you guys. Let's set up a website and let's help people around the world make these movies. Now, we had 4 businesses, so I didn't need another business. And we knew nothing about the internet. Glenn could hardly turn on a computer. And I hadn't even heard of YouTube, or I didn't know what a social network was. And this is 2007. Yeah, 2007. So we're like, well, we don't know anything. He goes, it's all right, I'll teach you. We kind of figured it out. So we put a little video up on YouTube, and within months, we had so many emails coming in from people going, this is changing my life. And it kind of woke something up inside of me. I'm like, boys, we need to figure this out. How do we do this internet thing? We know how to run a business. That's not a problem. But how do we figure out the internet thing? So, we figured out you could buy programs online that would teach you how to do it. So we bought one program, it was $2,000, which was a lot of money for us at the time. And we implemented one idea and made our money back. We were like, okay, this is great. And then Frank Kern, who was the guy who created that program, announced he was doing a live event in San Diego in April of 2008. So we're like, right, let's commit to this, boots and all. So we came over to the US. That was our first weekend. And I said I set this intention with Glenn on the plane. I go, look, here's the plan, right? We're going to meet this Frank guy and we're going to figure out how he can mentor us because he's the man, right? He knows what he's doing. And let's just, meet other people who are marketers and just become sponges. And so we were accepted into Frank's mastermind in that weekend. And all the friends that we met were all in San Diego for the summer to launch their programs. So we were just in the perfect world, surrounded by the perfect people. And we spent 6 months working our little butts off from our bedrooms in this little 2-bedroom apartment that we had, and ended up launching Mind Movies in September of 2008, which, also coincided with the economic crisis and people losing everything. And we'd already accumulated $120,000 on credit cards by the time we got to that launch. And we're like, okay, this has got to work. Otherwise, we're toast. I don't know how we'll crawl out of this hole. And in the end, we ended up doing like a $700,000 launch. Because It was a $97 product. It was a small little thing. We learned everything that we had to. We were surrounded by the right support, and it was just the right timing. It could have gone either way, but it ended up going the way that we had wanted. So that we went from this little 8,000 email list and, kind of slogging it out to 80,000 list. And of course, by the time we came back to the US the next year, we're receiving emails from people like Jack Canfield and John Assaraf and Joe Vitale going, we heard you guys are doing great things. We'd love to work with you. So it was interesting how that ride was hard in the beginning, but we used all of our manifestation skills to be able to create something that now we've reached 10 million people around the world.
Well, it sounds like a number of things had to come right together for that to be created. Just the fact that the The Secret, I mean, how many of us started our careers there, launched you into it, and then the next person came in, and then the next person, and the next, and the next. Huge leap of faith, but also just little mini manifestation after the next, one after the next. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about what happened next, right after these great words from the UK Health Radio. And we're back with Natalie Ledwell. Why am I having a hard time with your last name? It's Ledwell, everyone.
That's right.
Natalie Ledwell, who is the founder of Mind Movies. This amazing little idea. I mean, it makes the most sense on the planet to make a moving vision board, and it has music too, right?
Right.
So it stimulates the visual cortex, where we're really getting that visual down. It also stimulates the auditory and the emotions. It seems like that puts the whole thing together to create this beautiful way to manifest. Online, it's an online program, right?
Yeah. So what we did is we created software to make it online software to make it really easy for people to make their own movies. And so when you go inside the software, you'll see there's a whole library of affirmations, a whole library of photos, a whole library of music, or you can write your own affirmations and put your own photos as music. But the reason I think that my movie is so powerful is, number one, you have to get clear about what you want. You know, you articulate this beautiful future that you're creating through affirmation. So you're using the right language. You know, and when I help people make their own mind movies, there's 5 types of affirmations I get them to think about as they're making their movie. So you want to describe what it is that you want. You know, I have an outrageously successful business. I have optimal health and energy and vitality. You know, I have, you know, a beautiful, loving, supportive relationship, or whatever it is that you're working towards. Then you want to use affirmations to describe what life looks like when you get there, because that's what you visualize on. You're visualizing as if it's happening now. Then you want to think about why. Like, why do I want to create this? Why am I doing this? And sometimes I think about why about the people that I'm serving, if I'm, you know, using it for a project. I think about why for the people that I love. So how does, you know, me achieving this goal really help the people around me? And then I think about my own personal whys, which could be, you know, anything. Then I also want to think about any actions that I want to take. And then the last type of affirmation is really important, because what we do know is that our thoughts create our reality. So if we're not happy with the reality that we have right now, how do you need to change your thoughts to create the reality that you want? Or how do you need to change the way you think to become the person you need to be, to have this optimal health, to be living, you know, healthy and vital, you know, and having the life that you want? So, you know, I often either think about some of the negative thoughts that come up for me and go, okay, well, if I'm choosing to release that, what am I going to replace that with? And the cool thing about adding that to a mind movie or to your list of affirmations is that you can look at those affirmations and then see yourself already operating from those new thought paradigms and how that, you know, influences your outcomes.
Natalie, do you ever find that people have a hard time choosing, that first step is the biggest hurdle to actually choose something specific that they want?
Yeah. And I think what happens is people go, look, I do want optimal health, or I do want you know, an amazing business, but I don't know what the business is. Or I want to be in an amazing relationship, but I don't know, you know, what kind of guy I'm looking for. And you don't have to be too specific in the beginning. The fact that you know that you want a relationship, or that you want health, or that you want a business, great. Just put that, you know, because as you start to, you know, take action and move forward, and you're visualizing yourself, you know, waking up without an alarm clock, and, you know, and serving people and being in interactions with them. If you see that, and then you start to research, okay, well, what am I good at? What would I like to do? Or, you know, what kind of exercise regime, or what kind of, you know, eating plan can I follow that I think I can follow for the rest of my life? Like, what does that look like? And once you start to lean into that and research it, and then you start to realize that there are things that you do like, then, you know, as it works, as the law of attraction, the universal law, things will start to fall in. You start to meet people, you get ideas. And then, eventually what you are looking for will show up. But you don't have to be too clear in the beginning. Yes, you want health, but it could be a million different things,
We find that so many people will know what they don't want. They'll know what they don't want. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be, but they have a hard time redirecting themselves into what they do. So it sounds like the mind movie has them choosing right off the bat some things that they do like and that they do want and that do fit in their life. Because you said, how is it for the people that I serve? How is it for my family, the people I love? And how is it for me? You have them actually thinking through a bit. What would it look like? So is that a way for them to sort of try it on a little bit?
Absolutely. This is like a mental dress rehearsal.
I like it.
And we often will have people create a mind movie and then have to go in and edit it because I'm like, no, I really thought about that. I'm thinking, no, that's not what I'd like at all. I think I prefer this instead. So it's a great way to have a little, mental dress rehearsal. And also when you're visualizing on a regular basis, because, you want to be able to see yourself, already there, you get to have these little mental vacations into your future. But the other part of the mind movie that's also really important and exceptionally powerful is the music.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, it does help to elicit a certain emotion. Like when I do my health mind movie, I am using something really up-tempo that'll either get my lazy butt out of bed or it'll have me in that, that vibrational match to the body and the health that I want as I'm going to the gym or as I'm working out. My love mind movie, of course, I used a love song because that's the emotion that I want to evoke when I'm, watching that mind movie. So you use a song that's an anchor or that's appropriate to the theme of your mind movie, but then it becomes an anchor, like a mental anchor. So the original mind movie I made back in 2006, I used the song Clocks by Coldplay. And I can't listen to that song and not cry because that mind movie was the beginning of this incredible life that I get to live. And it kind of became the theme of my life and the theme of our business. And so I've been in the back of an Uber when that's come on the radio, and I'm like, and the guy's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yes, I just really like this song."
Now, that music. Do you also have binaural beats as well, or things that will induce a different brainwave state as well?
We do, not on the regular mind movies that you make for yourself, but we have a product called Mind Movies Matrix. And so there's 2 mind movies that you watch. You choose the theme, like it could be love, it could be health, it could be money, or whatever that is. So you watch, let's say it's health, you watch the health brainwave entrainment audio mind movie in the morning. So we have the mind movie, the brainwave entrainment audio is attached to it. And it's kind of a little bit like a buffeting sound, but what that sound does is it shuts down your analytical mind and puts you directly into suggestible mind. And so it's kind of like going into trance. I've worked a lot with Dr. Joe Dispenza over the last 10 years, and how he does it, he gets people to watch a kaleidoscope. So you kind of go into trance, your analytical mind is shut down, and then you start to watch your mind movie. So, with the Mind Movies Matrix, whatever you're watching is going, it's the analytical mind is shut down so much, it's just going straight into the subconscious. And then in the evening, you watch the same mind movie, but now it has subliminal audio. So it has music, but underneath it is an audio that you can't consciously hear, but subconsciously you can, that's laced with all of the affirmations that you have in that mind movie. And again, it's a way to subconsciously reprogram the mind as well. It's pretty cool.
And the person chooses all of their own affirmations, or can you kind of choose something that's a block of affirmations as well?
Yeah. So with Mind Movies Matrix, the movies are already done, but the most optimal way to use that is to watch the mind movie, say for health, watch it maybe a couple of times so that you're really in suggestible mind, and then watch your personal mind movie. Okay. That has your own affirmations and your own goals in it.
That's amazing. That
really turbocharges it. Yeah.
Okay. So Natalie, Tell us some stories. What kinds of things have happened because of people watching mind movies or even your own?
Oh, well, I've got lots of personal stories. I still make mind movies. When the pandemic hit and we were sort of, stuck at home and my calendar was open, I thought this is a good time to, I've changed my coach. So I always have a personal coach. So I was working with a new coach and I could work with her every week. And I decided, okay, I think I've got space and time for a relationship right now. So, now it's COVID. So restaurants are closed down. Like I'm in California, nothing was open. And yet I'm like, no, I'm going to manifest this. So I created a love mind movie. And I had a friend help me with a profile online. And within 3 weeks, I had, this guy reach out. And I think one of the questions I answered was, what do you do at home on a Saturday night? I said, I cook a beautiful steak, a lovely red wine, great conversation. And he's like, well, what kind of steak? I'm like, ribeye. What other steak is there? He's like, good answer. And he goes, do you still have your Australian accent? I said, yes. And if you'd like to hear it, you could call me. So we were on the phone the next day. The next day after that, we went for a walk and we were together for like 2 hours on that walk. And we knew on that walk that we were a match. And it's been over 2 years now that we've been together. And the reason that I knew anyway, was because I was very clear about what I wanted in a partner. And he showed up as that on that first date. And I actually didn't share my mind movie with him until we'd been together for about 3 months. And then, I showed him the mind movie and he's like, okay, first of all, that's creepy because that's us. I said, yes. I said, you think you found me, but I think I manifested you. So, little things like that, with my health mind movie, I'll have a certain, this is back in, a few years ago, I had one where after we did that first launch of mind movies, I blew out to about a size 14 because we were just working 12-hour days eating junk food, so I got back to Australia and my 40th birthday was coming up in February. I'm like, right, I need to, this is what so I'm describing what I look like, how I'm being received at the party, all of that. And I got down to a size 10 in just a couple of months because I could use the mind movie, not just to visually see myself and feel what it was like to be at my 40th birthday and how amazing I looked, but I would also use it when, say, 1 o'clock came around, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd watch my mind movie at 4:30. Because I knew that was like a trigger time for me. And that it kept reminding me, nope, this is what I'm doing. This is how amazing it's going to be. So instead I'd go for a walk or I'd do something different. So it really helped me to stick to my plan. And I looked fabulous at my 40th birthday.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It occurs to me that so often I'll start doing something, maybe a diet, maybe an exercise plan. And 4 or 5 days in, I get busy. I got a lot going on. And I forget entirely that I was ever doing that thing in the first place. Like,
right.
A month will pass. I'm like, oh my God, I was doing that thing and I forgot. So it occurs to me that a mind movie might be a perfect way to keep yourself refocused throughout the day. This thing that you can, I'm assuming it's an app, you can turn it on and refocus your attention back on what you want to create for yourself. So it's not just a one and done. You're in there reminding, reinforcing the neurological patterns, keeping your mind and your body aimed that direction. It seems like just that piece alone would really help with a person's success.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. And I think what we do know is that, if we're talking about the law of attraction, for example, we want to be a vibrational match to that result that we want to create. So what is our vibration? How do we change our vibration? How do we manipulate that? Well, we do that through our thoughts and our emotions. So if we can be visualizing clearly on a regular basis and feeling what it's like to already be there, then we are able to become like an energetic alignment with everything we need to make it happen. So, and I really call it the trifecta. Like you'll have your thoughts, your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If all of those three things are in alignment, and remember too that when you're visualizing, you kind of want to visualize not like you're a character in a movie, but that you're actually experiencing a moment as if it's happening now. And the more that you can do that and repetitively do that, the more the subconscious mind thinks, oh, this is actually what's happening right now. Like, it's kind of like we trick it. And it helps to create new neural pathways that have thoughts traveling along those neural pathways that are in alignment with this vision that you keep seeing. And then what happens is that, like, let's say, for example, you have a health goal. You might find it really hard to get out of bed in the morning because you're like, I have to get a half an hour early just to get a workout in or to do some kind of exercise. You find that you can't wait to get out of bed. You find that you have the energy somehow you get the energy to be able to do that, and you love doing this workout, or that you automatically start making healthier choices with the food that you're eating without even really consciously thinking about it, because you're already starting to reprogram your mind.
It sounds to me like what you're doing is you're reprogramming the subconscious so that it's no longer a fight or an effort.
Right.
Like you just are getting out of bed because you actually got that feeling of, yes, I'm into this, right? You're not fighting it anymore.
And even with my affirmations, I have to trick myself. Because, one of my affirmations might be, I love getting out of bed and exercising in the morning. Now, I may not love that when I initially write that affirmation, but after a little while, all of a sudden, I love it. So I'm not only am I saying what it is that I'm doing, but I'm also going, no, I love doing this. This is easy. My energy comes to me easily. Like, I'm fit and I'm toned. I love strength training or whatever that is. And you're just like, okay. And after a while, you do love it, because what you're doing in your mind is seeing yourself loving it. And subconscious mind goes, oh, okay, we love it now. Okay, let's do that.
So I have to tell on myself. I'm telling on myself a lot in this episode, but I really despised vision boards of all kinds for exactly this reason. When vision boards were a big deal, I made the big thing, it's on my wall, all the gorgeous things that I wanted to do, be, have, know, all of that. And every time I looked at that stinking vision board, all I would do is suffer. And I think I'm not alone in this. I think there's a lot of people, when we first started learning law of attraction, I think many people still have this issue. You do that thing like, oh, I love getting out of bed. And instantly your body kicks back, almost kicks you right in the head, in the gut, in the butt, all of it, that says, no, you don't. And you're not ever going to want to do that. So for me, it created this big cycle of, no, none of that is actually true. It was kind of the worst. The best day of my life is when I burnt that vision board. So what would you say to a person who was like me in that case, where it's like, no, none of this is accurate. You're never going to get there. You're not going to have that, where you just create suffering.
Yeah. So a lot of people have a bit of an aversion to affirmations, because they're like, I can't stand in front of a mirror and go, I'm thin, I'm svelte, I'm all these kind of things, when that's not the reality right now. But that's not how we use affirmations. The reason we use affirmations, number one, we have to describe this future as if it's happening now. So we're describing the future, not what's happening now. And we have to describe it in present tense, because when we go into a visualization, we have to imagine as if it's happening now. Okay, so it's not like and I don't necessarily recommend reciting affirmations. I just use them as a way to describe my future, but using the right language. For example, we could go, look, I want to be debt-free. I want to be pain-free. Well, every word that we use conjures up a picture in our mind. So when I say I want to be debt-free, I am instantly taken back to 2006, sitting in my office in Sydney, and I'm like, no, that's not where I want to go. I want to describe what it is that I want, not what I don't want, kind of thing. And I know it's difficult, especially if you're having a health condition or a health problem and you are in pain, and you are in discomfort, and that's your reality day in, day out. The challenge is we need to, when we're, writing these affirmations and we're describing this future, we need to kind of get out of that a little bit. We need to get into a place where we're not surrounded in the pain, because if we're focusing on the pain, we're just creating more things that create more pain. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, if you are someone who suffers with that, there will be moments in your day where you are not aware that you've got pain because you've got other things that are going on. We kind of need to get to that point, hang out there for a little bit, then think about not just how do I get out of this situation, but how do I, like, optimally, what do I want my life to look at like, and we can't do that when we're, in the suffering. So, I always recommend, doing a little meditation. I definitely always recommend gratitude as a precursor to creating a mind movie. Everything amazing in my life has come and gratitude was the gateway. It was the precursor to what was on the other side. And so, yeah, you might be having like a really harrowing and very difficult experience right now. But even in those moments and even in that life, you have things that you can be grateful for. There are certain things you go, well, I mean, at least I have my legs. I'm grateful that I actually have my legs, and, I have all my limbs, and, I'm grateful that, that I get access to, to go outside and, breathe fresh air or whatever that is. And it's only from that place that we should really think about, well, what is it that I really do want? Because then we kind of dare to dream a little bit. And the thing is, the more that you watch your mind movie, the more that you start to build your belief. Because without belief and expectation, we can't create anything. They're two of the core ingredients. So the more that you watch it, and, like I was telling you, I've worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza for many years, and I would travel with him and do little mini workshops in his advanced weekends. And so I remember this one lady, and this is a very common thing. She came into the thing and she sits down with her arms closed and goes, I'm only here because Dr. Joe said I had to be, and I'm technically challenged and blah, 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 and I don't really want to do this. I'm like, it's okay. Let me help you. So I helped her through the process. And then we get to the end, and I said, do you want to preview your mind movie before we send it to the processor? She goes, okay. So we press play, and this woman starts crying. She goes, oh my God, that's my life. That's the life I want. I go, exactly.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. All right. Let's hear from our sponsors over at UK Health Radio. Okay. Natalie, this is so awesome. There's a little something I think that we might be able to help people with, especially the people that might be challenged with all this. And years ago, I had some wonderful teachers, and they were teachers of hypnosis. And one of the things that they said is, hey, listen, Bill, every single night there is an opportunity. Now, when we try to bring somebody through hypnosis, we're trying to put in or eliminate, unresourceful things from their subconscious, or put in something that's resourceful. So they said, every night when you go to sleep, you go from beta, which is we're actively talking, that brainwave state. We lower down into alpha, like that's like kind of the state when you're driving, you're kind of like watching TV, you're kind of relaxed. And then you drop down a little bit more relaxed into theta, you've gone to sleep. And delta is very, very deep, deep sleep. Well, when we get down into theta, there's no resistance to what's being told us. It literally programs our subconscious. So every night we go through the cycle down. And for us that are, maybe there's some resistance in actually saying it, I am wealthy. I do have a new car and a new house. If this is coming to us as we're actually sleeping and playing the mind movie in the background at just above audible, level, that it can get in there. Do people utilize mind movies in that way?
Absolutely. Well, we know that whatever we're watching for the last 10 minutes before we go to sleep is probably what we're going to be dreaming about, or, that a subconscious mind is going to be mulling over. And for anyone who's ever binge watched anything on Netflix, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I have to, like, if I'm watching some kind of intense thing like House of Dragons or something, I have to, okay, I need to watch something really benign before I go to bed, because that's what I'll be dreaming about. But you think about it, if your mind movie is what you're watching before you go to bed, your subconscious mind is going to be mulling over that all evening. And sometimes you'll wake up. And so I have a little process, because, you're talking about going into theta as we're going to sleep. Well, we go into theta as we're coming out of sleep as well. And so in the mornings, as I'm waking up, my eyes are still closed, but my brain's kicking in. This is when I ask my questions. This is when I think about my day. This is when I'm checking into source, or checking into the unified field of, what do I need to know today? What's going on, kind of thing. And this is when I get some of the most amazing ideas and insights and guidance at that time, because I'm naturally widing the theta wave. And when we're in theta, we are way more coherent with the unified field. So it's easy for me to tap into that and get the guidance I need.
Well, that is a really, really cool idea. It's actually my practice in the morning too. That's my morning ritual before I get out of bed. That still, that feeling of that dreamy state, to kind of think about how I want the day to go. So I've never heard anybody else say they do that. It's very interesting. And I think that as I think over the Mind Movies idea, it's so, so brilliant. You're really letting people think about it in the beginning. What do you want? Who's it for? What's it for? What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? Sorting it out. I think, number one, that's one of the first things that would stop a person from having that negative reaction I used to have, is actually be thinking it through a little farther down the path. And then that swell of music, something that, and music is so personal to each of us, something that really speaks to you, gets your blood pumping, feels like happy to you. That's the thing. And then beautiful visuals on top of it. I think it's just amazing. And then if you're doing the Matrix, where you've got affirmations and things underneath of it as well, I mean, it's just a powerhouse. So you said that you would share with everybody a little mini visualization. Would you like to do that now?
I would love to do that. Okay. So, as I was saying before, we want to, when we're visualizing, we don't necessarily want to see ourselves as a character in a movie. We want to actually feel as if we're experiencing the moment. So, what are you seeing? What are you tasting? What are you touching? What are you hearing? Like, what's going on around you? And so I'm going to lead you through like a little mini visualization. And this is what I would do, because I had knee problems. I've had 2 partial knee replacements, and now I'm like, back to where I was before. But I would visualize, because I used to be a runner, I used to visualize myself running on the beach. So that was what was going to be healing my body. And I healed very quickly after these surgeries. And now it's like I'm back to, being that person again. So if you're listening to this, I want you to just, if you're driving the car, obviously don't do this. Although you could possibly do it with your eyes open, but, and you could imagine this, but if you could just, get comfortable for a moment, and just when you're ready, just slowly close your eyes and just concentrate on your breath for just a moment, and just making sure that you're feeling, very calm, very relaxed, and if you can feel any tension in your body, just, focus on that area and see it, leaving your body, so that you're feeling completely, totally relaxed. And I want you to imagine yourself on a beach. And you're kind of down near the water's edge, like where the waves are gently just lapping up on the sand, where the sand is still, a little firm. And you can feel the sand underneath your feet, maybe in between your toes just a little bit. And you can hear the waves just slowly just lapping up on the shoreline there. And you can smell the ocean. It smells really fresh. and you can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. It's not too hot. It just feels really beautiful. And I want you to see yourself walking and imagine yourself walking along the beach. And you're feeling very strong. You're feeling very fit. And after a couple of more steps, you start to go into a light jog. And as you're jogging, your legs are feeling strong. You're just easily bounding along the sand. Your arms are going back and forth. And you're breathing easily. And you're breathing in time with the strides that you're taking along the beach. And after a couple more steps, you start to run a little faster. Again, feeling so confident. Your posture is straight, bounding along the sand, and it almost feels effortless. Your whole body is in sync with the strides that you're taking. And you're feeling so accomplished. You're feeling so strong. And you're feeling so fit. And now see yourself slowing down, going back into a walk. And your breathing comes back to an easy, relaxed breath because you're fit. And you just stand there for a moment, looking out at the ocean and feeling so much gratitude for the fact that your body is in such an optimal, healthy state. So just taking a deep breath in, just breathing in and breathing out. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes.
Oh, that was awesome. I didn't want to come back.
Yeah. You know, and that visualization, it's all about not just what you're doing, but how you're feeling, the emotions that you're feeling as you're doing it as well.
Yeah, that's everything. Being able to really feel into it will get that signal generating right out of your body and into the morphic field and creating a match. Beautiful. So Natalie, would you tell everyone how can they get Mind Movies for themselves?
Yeah. So we're going to supply you with a link so that you can actually download 6 pre-made Mind Movies for absolutely free.
So if you want Mind Movies for yourself, you guys want to try this out, and I highly recommend it, go to mindmovies.com/new life. mindmovies.com/new life to take advantage of Natalie's offer for the 6 Mind Movies.
And the Mind Movies are about, confidence and about health and about love. And when you do that, you can download them straight away, start watching them. And not only do they help you to feel wealthy or feel healthy or feel in a good state, but they also are a great way to start to figure out what it is that you specifically want for yourself. They're a great place to start from there. And, our main website is mindmovies.com. And you can find out all about all our programs and things there as well.
It's amazing. I love to ask this question to people who are master manifestors, who've done it, who've accomplished it, or are continuing to do it. Natalie, what would you want people to know? What's one thing you really would want them to take away and be able to use for themselves when it comes to manifesting?
Yeah. Well, we went through the steps of manifesting today, being in a happy place, setting your intention, getting clear about what you want, visualizing, taking action. The thing is, it doesn't matter how old you are or where you grow up or what your life experience has been to this point. We all have the ability to be able to do those things. We all have the ability to be able to leverage the universe and the law of attraction to be able to manifest anything that we want. And if you're, intentional about it and where it is that you're going, you can create anything that you want.
That's amazing. Absolutely beautiful. We want everybody to know out there who is using also Cogno Movement. Bill and I think this pairs so beautifully. Anything that you can do to really get your juices flowing, to feel and think and reinforce that positive pattern, and something that you can do throughout the day, carry it with you. It's on your phone anytime you want, first thing in the morning, late at night. It will help you get these things faster and faster and get clearer and clearer on what you do want. That's really that first step. So, oh my gosh, Natalie, it's gone by way too fast.
Yeah.
We so loved having a chat with you. We hope you'll come back again and share more about manifesting. We know you have a lot more things going. Bill, any last thoughts before we let Natalie go?
Oh gosh, what a great offer. Take advantage of this, everybody. It's free and to try out. When you do this and you stay after it, you reprogram the subconscious, and whatever is in there is going to start expressing itself. That's just the nature of it. So give it a try.
All right, everybody, be safe and be well. We will see you all again next week. Talk soon. Thanks for being here with us on the New Life Perspective radio show. For more information or to find out more about the work that Bill and I do, please visit us at cognomovement.com or email us at info@cognomovement.com. See you again soon.